Welcome back, eSIM Studios podcast live stream episode number 213. Thank you for joining me on this Wednesday afternoon, July. Let me start that over. Thank you for joining me today, eSIM Studios podcast live stream episode number 213, Wednesday afternoon, October the 9th. Got a lot to get into, so we'll try to cover all the tech news that's making headlines today. It's one of the busier days we've had in a while. We have a lot going on. I was going over some topics this morning and I was like, wow. I mean, story on stories on stories, right? Stacks on stacks on stacks. So without further ado, if you miss this show, if you miss a story, one of the fine stories we got for you today, I'm streaming across multiple platforms: Twitter, Instagram, a number of YouTube channels, Twitch, which I've never even I created an account and apparently we're on Twitch, but whatever. Our home base is YouTube on the eSIM Studios YouTube channel. So head on over. If you miss a story, go to YouTube, search eSIM Studios. We will pop up. Also, you can catch us in audio form on any podcast platform in the world: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Samsung Podcasts, iHeartRadio Music app, YouTube Music, Amazon Music. Wherever you listen to your podcast, search eSIM Studios. We will pop up. Okay, so we have very interesting news all across the board. We got Apple, big time Apple news. We got huge news from Apple. We have OnePlus news. We have Snapdragon news, Qualcomm Snapdragon news. We have MediaTek news, Dimensity news, Google news. I'm not even sure we'll get through everything. But let's start with the Apple news. Now, don't worry, Android fans. I'm not turning into an Apple fanboy, but let's face it, whether you like Apple or not, I'm on the not side, but whether you like them or not, it is a fact they are the biggest tech company in the world. So when they make headlines, we're going to have to cover it. So we have two big stories in regards to Apple. So we've discussed a lot about the new Apple iPhone 17, 17 Pro. Do I have a cold? No. You would think I have a cold. I've been accused in the past of being on coke while I do this, and that is not true. I live in South Texas. If you look at our allergy report, if you look up San Antonio, Texas allergy report, it's insane. Honestly, I'm going to move at some point here in the next few years. I can't. My nose is stopped up, unfortunately, because of allergies. Last couple of weeks, my eyes have been real red and itchy. So, no, I don't have a cold. No, I'm not on drugs. It's the allergies out here. So I do apologize. I'll try to get through it as best as possible. But thank you for joining us. Daniel, what's going on, brother? I always appreciate it. So Apple. We've discussed a lot about the iPhone 17 Air, right? It's a new razor thin iPhone that they're going to push out the Plus model, and there will be no iPhone 17 Plus. They're going to push the Plus model out and insert the iPhone 17 Air. That sucker will be sold out for months upon months upon months when they release it next year. And we know they're going to come out with an iPhone flip with the 18 series, but we have a sneak peek at one of the other models, one of the other devices. Now, it's probably not a big surprise to many people as far as what it will look like, right? I mean, when you talk about iPhone, they all look the same, dating back to 5 or 6 years. Now, the iPhone 17 Air, again, going to be razor thin, will look considerably different from anything we've seen from Apple. It's going to have a camera bar across the top, right? Not in the triangular module that they have right now currently. So that will start to look different. The flip obviously is going to be completely different. But unfortunately, I have something that's not necessarily a new design change, but we do have new colors. So I know Apple caught a lot of flack for introducing the really cool, neat looking colors, the bold looking colors on the base models, right? The iPhone 16 and 16 Plus got all the cool, bold colors, right? While the 16 Pro and the 16 Pro Max got pretty bland, right? Pretty bland colors. They introduced a new desert titanium, which basically looks like a gold color, quite frankly. But we got our sneak peek at the very first iPhone 17 Pro. Now, what the difference is, it's going to look the same, so, not a shocker there. But the big news is that they're going to introduce the colors that are on the 16 and 16 Plus that have all the cool, bold colors. They're going to introduce those colors to the Pro and the Pro Max next year. So the iPhone 17 Air, the razor-thin phone, will be in place of the Plus model. But they're going to keep the Pro and Pro Max going to look the same. I have a picture. Going to look the same as they do now, the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max, but they're going to introduce the new colors. And here's what they look like. Let me upload this. Here we go, right there. So there you have the iPhone 17 Pro in a teal, a light green, light blue, and dark green iPhone 17 Pro. Now, we don't know if there's going to be any more colors. These are just the ones that we've got at the moment. So they could introduce, they'll probably have the black, right? Because that's what I ordered, a black 17 Pro. Oh, Jesus Christ, a black 16 Pro Max. I think that gets here on the 15th. So I'm assuming they're going to keep a black. I'm assuming they're going to keep a white, possibly a natural titanium, but they are going to introduce, I'm assuming, we don't know for sure. I'm assuming that they're going to introduce I'm assuming they're going to keep the black and the white, possibly the natural, and then introduce some more colors here as well. Let me see if I got any more pics of these. What's going on, Walter Scott? Appreciate you joining us today, sir. Thank you very much. I do not have any new colors available. This is all we got at the moment. So if you were holding out, if you did not upgrade this year, probably, maybe, possibly want to upgrade next year if you want to get some more colors, or if, quite frankly, if you're bored with the colors they got this year, they will introduce more bold colors, real colors, next year. I know the black in the desert titanium, and then they have a white and a kind of a silver color, which is their natural titanium. Didn't really introduce many colors. Google Pixel, the same thing this year. I wish they introduced. The only cool color, I don't know why they do this. All the cool colors are on the base model, like the Pixel 9, although I would never use or buy a pink phone, but Google with this Pixel series, they have a real, like a Pepto-Bismol type, really, really bold pink in the base model. And then they got really cool colors in the 9. Pixel 9 is where all the cool colors are at, and then the Pro and Pro XL are just basic colors. I don't know why they're doing this, but it is what it is. I don't know. You can buy a skin from D brand and choose your own color, right? Now, check this out. The other big news, Apple news making headlines today, and let me know how you feel about this, because I kind of am agreeing with Apple with this. Now, it hasn't been made official, but this is what they're talking about behind the scenes, behind closed doors, in the boardroom. And I agree with them. And don't let anybody tell you anything else. They copied nothing on this. They copied nothing. I know they brought it up in their boardroom discussions. Carl Pei was the first to make a big decision, and then Apple followed along. So here's what Apple is going to do. So, there's been a lot of talk on the AI, Apple Intelligence, with these new iPhone 16 series, right? Well, they were not on their phones at launch, and they're getting roasted. There's a lot of people online kissing Apple's ass, and there's a lot of people on YouTube that will not say anything bad about Apple. I'm not one of those people. Apple can kiss my ass for all that I care. They banned my original iCloud account because I'm assuming because I've haven't been talking that favorably about them, and I made that video about the Nothing messaging app where you can message iPhone users from a Nothing phone while still getting green bubbles, and all the messaging works and all that stuff before Apple adopted RCS. So Apple blocked me, right? Literally, my iCloud account does not work. So they can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned. And I'm just going to tell you the truth. When they deserve praise, I'll give them praise. When they screw up, I'm going to let you know, in my opinion, I think they screwed up. But I am in agreement with this decision. So what they're going to do, they've been catching a ton of flack online and on YouTube for not having their AI features on the device when they're launched. Now, as much as I am Team Pixel, I gave Google hell, right? It's equal opportunity over here. If you screw up, I'm going to let you know. If you do something good, I'm going to let you know. Google screwed up big time with the Pixel 8 series last year. And the same thing happened. They said, oh, we're going to have all these cool features, and it'll do this and it'll do that when they launched the Pixel 8. And when the Pixel 8 got into people's hands, when they got them, like, well, where's the features? What's going on here? Same thing happened to Google. Some of the features were not on the phone at launch. Oh, it'll be released 3 months. It'll be released in the fall. Well, there was a feature that Google announced at the launch of the Pixel 8. I don't even think that's on. Actually, I think they just released it with the Pixel 9. And please forgive me, I can't remember what it was, but take my word for it. So Google made that mistake last year. When they released these Pixel 9 series, they did not make that same mistake. Everything they announced at launch of this Pixel 9 series device was on the device when we got them in our hand. Apple screwed up, and they're learning from their lessons, because the news that's coming out with Apple today, let me pull up my screen. So Apple is reportedly not going to release devices, specifically the iPhone, on an annual launch date. So this is huge. So we know, and I'll get into Nothing in a second, everybody knows Apple releases iPhones every September, right? Mid-September, Apple iPhone's going to be out, right? Well, it doesn't look like it anymore. So Apple got so much backlash, and I know there's people inside Apple on the board that they were struggling. Some wanted to launch this device and release Apple AI at a later time on this iPhone 16 series. Some in Apple wanted to delay the launch of the iPhone 16 until, and not release the iPhone 16 until these AI features were on the device, meaning when users pre-order them and they get shipped to them, all the features are on the device. That's the way it should be. Keyword should. So it looks like Apple is going to do away with their yearly release date, meaning every mid-September we get a new iPhone. No. It looks like they're going to release an iPhone whenever the new features are ready. So if they're not ready by next September, and let's say they'll be ready, a month or two next year, that means no more iPhone 17 launch in mid-September. That means it'll get launched in November. It'll get launched in December. So they're going to do away with the yearly annual release schedule. Now, where does Nothing come in? The Nothing phones are phenomenal. If you're not familiar with them, here I have a Nothing phone here. I have a Nothing phone right here. Right, kind of. It's one of the Nothing Phone 2 looks like an iPhone, but it's very different, right? See-through back, awesome device. I just uploaded a video about it. So their flagship model, Nothing Phone 2, has been out for a year and a half. They were supposed to launch the Nothing Phone 3 in July. So then the Nothing Phone 2 came out July 2023. The Nothing Phone 3 was supposed to come out July 2024. Carl Pei, the owner of and the CEO of Nothing, made a statement saying, hey, look, we're not going to release the Nothing Phone 3 right now. And we're not going to release it until the AI features that we have implemented on this Nothing Phone 3, we're not going to release it until those AI features and everything is ready to go. And I'm actually surprised we have not seen any leaks yet. I would have guaranteed you we would have seen something at least by now or by the end of the year, and we still might. We still got a couple months left, but Apple's, it looks like, is going to take that same approach. So this shouldn't be, I'm not shocked by the decision that Apple is going to do away with a yearly release schedule. I'm kind of surprised but not shocked, right? Because Nothing did this first, and I agree. I 100% agree. If something is not ready, don't release it to the public. Because look, these things are expensive as hell. $1,000 for a phone, and there's people like me, people like Daniel in the chat, a lot of other people, a lot of other followers and subscribers of mine upgrade yearly. Every time a new phone comes out, boom, we get it. That's a lot of money we're shelling out. And look, I've only had a few devices sent to me. I'm still buying the majority of my devices with my own money. You see what I'm saying? Like, and so are you, right? So is the viewer. These are super expensive. Don't ship these to us. Don't release them if all the features that you're claiming this new device to have, do not release it. Do not ship it until it's ready, because it's a huge bummer when we get these in our hands and we're like, well, where's this? Where's that? You know, I'm a sucker for I can't tell you how many times in the past I'm like, nah, I'm not going to upgrade. I'm going to keep this phone, I think, for maybe another 6 months or maybe another year. I'm not going to upgrade. It's just the same phone. And then you watch the keynote or the launch, and you're like, whoa. And they're like, and it can do this, and it can do that, and it can do all this. And I'm sitting there like, whoa, that is so badass. Okay, I changed my mind. I'm going to buy it. You know, I'm a sucker for that stuff, but it is what it is. This technology stuff is my little splurge. I'm not, I was big into cars. Anyways, they get me every time. I just wish they would not, either don't tell us it's going to have these features and then ship it to us without telling us the features, and then at a later point after we have the new device, a couple months down the road, then make an announcement and say, oh, look, we're going to release this for your phone and the update is available now. I would rather them do that or not release it at all until it's ready than tell us at launch, oh, it's got this, it's got blah, 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 blah. And then we get them like, what the hell's going on? You know, it makes you want to return it. It's a very expensive hobby. Very. I was just last week, I was adding up some expenses and stuff for my business, and I was like, well, let me add up all this too. My tech stuff that I have here, and it's, I could buy a car with all of the shit that I have around here. You know, it's not cheap. And I mean, I guess I can, incorporate it into my business, but tax write-off, but I still have to pay the money to purchase the product up front, right? So don't release it if it's not ready. So I do agree with Apple on this decision. Now, they were not specific. Let's see, my allergies are acting up. It was not specific as far as what products, but with the timing of this, you can assume it's iPhone. You can assume it's going to be iPad. You can assume it's going to be MacBook, right? So whatever products that are big sellers, iPhones, iPads, MacBooks, even AirPods, it was a generalized statement, meaning encompassing all of their products. So take that with a grain of salt. I don't believe it's set in stone, but where there's smoke, there's fire. If they're discussing this, I think this is a real thing. And I think if you polled most users, I think they would agree that, look, don't sell a phone if it doesn't have the features you promised it would come with. If it's not there, I don't want it yet, right? Like, I think we're willing to wait. Like, I'm desperately waiting for this Nothing Phone 3 to come out. They're my favorite cell phone company, but I want it to be badass when I get it, right? I don't want that letdown of what the hell is this, right? So I'm eagerly waiting for Nothing. I know they're hard at work on the Nothing Phone 3. I trust Carl Pei. I trust Nothing to put out a badass product. So in due time, right, we shall wait. And I think many iPhone users would feel the same way, right? Honestly. So just keep this in the back of your mind that the iPhone 17 series might not come out in mid-September, right? It might be November, it might be December, right? We just don't know. But just keep this in the back of your mind that they might do away with their yearly release schedule. Okay, now let's move on, shall we? So there was do you remember last week? Was it last week? So here's what happened. So last week, it was weird because I remember, was it a Tuesday? I think it was last Tuesday, about a week ago. A report came out that Verizon service was down, meaning like the data, the calls, the text that come into your phone if you have Verizon service, that Verizon towers service were down. Like, if you had Verizon, couldn't make calls, your text wouldn't go out, couldn't get on the internet, apps wouldn't work. Oh, damn, that's weird. You know, every now and then you'll hear that and you're just like, damn, that sucks for Verizon users, you know. And then the next day, I heard that the PlayStation Store was down, right? PlayStation Store, meaning it's like the App Store. I'm not a gamer, but it's basically like the App Store. It's the servers that keep PlayStation running, right? Games, I'm sure making payments or buying credits or whatever. That was down. It's like, damn, that's weird. Is that a coincidence, or is it just, bad timing one day after the other? And then the day after that, it was like 3 out of 4 days, and then a day or two after that, boom, AT&T service is down, meaning no phone calls, no texts, no service, no data, nothing. And then when I heard that, I was like, that's not a coincidence. Something is going on. Something's going on. That's not a coincidence for Verizon to go down, for PlayStation Store, PlayStation to go down, for AT&T service to go down. It's not a coincidence when 3 ginormous companies, their servers just boom, crash. 3 out of 4 days. Something's going on, and I knew it was just a matter of time until we heard what was behind that, right? And we got that today. So now we know, and I knew this was it. I knew it. I didn't say anything on this live stream. I didn't say anything. But now we know. Watch. Look at this. is breaking up. They must have hacked me. Shit. They must have got me. So look at this. Hackers. There we go. So apparently, hackers shut down Verizon service. Hackers shut down AT&T service. Now, they don't mention PlayStation. I can guarantee you it was hackers. Remember, these hackers don't like Sony because they famously made fun of China, North Korea. In what was that movie? I can't remember, but it was one of they hacked into Sony films. North Korea or China did. Well, guess what? They're back at it. So I know China is behind the Sony PlayStation hack too. But not only that, but here's a major concern. So China hackers shut down Verizon, AT&T, and Sony PlayStation, but they also might have accessed personal information, right, of yours. If you're a Verizon customer, if you're an AT&T customer, if you're on PlayStation or have a gamer tag or whatever the hell it's called, you might want to keep a close eye on your credit score, on your bank account. Just be extra vigilant of everything you do from here on out. Now, I'm a T-Mobile customer. I check my accounts. I check everything multiple times a day because I am scared to death of somebody draining my accounts or somebody hacking into my stuff. I take all the precautions I can. But if you're an AT&T customer, if you're a Verizon customer or a PlayStation user, you want to keep an extra close eye on everything going on around you because it looks like these Chinese hackers were in networks of major ISPs for months. Chinese government hackers penetrated the networks of several large US-based internet service providers and might have gained access to systems used for court-authorized wiretaps of communication networks. The Wall Street Journal reported Saturday. This is not some janky college campus reporting. This is not some stupid YouTuber making some claims. This is the Wall Street Journal. Now, I know some big name medias have been, their authenticity and integrity has been wavering a little bit, but this is a reputable publisher nonetheless. So the Wall Street Journal is reporting these hackers not only shut down these networks the other day, they've been inside these networks. They've been gaining access. They've been collecting information for wiretaps. That means they can listen to your conversations. This means they can get your text messages, all your messaging, everything that goes, that all the data, voice, text, and data that comes to and from the towers to your device, these hackers possibly could have had access to. Now, could you be the one? Is it every single AT&T subscriber? Is it every single Verizon network subscriber? Maybe. Shit, I don't know. But maybe not. You know, do Verizon and AT&T together? Now, T-Mobile obviously is the number one. Anyways, those top three, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon, are the top mobile subscribers in the United States. So if they've hacked 2 out of the 3, that means they've roughly had access to probably 200 million customers. Basically, I don't know, and I'm going to look into this. I don't know if Mint Mobile customers, or no, I shouldn't say that, Visible or Spectrum, right, or Cricket, right? Since Cricket is not, it is technically AT&T because it runs on AT&T towers, it runs on AT&T computer systems. It's just called Cricket. I think it includes the MVNOs. I think, but I'm not sure. But if you're an AT&T or Verizon customer, you need to be aware of this, right? And that's why we're talking about it today. People familiar with the matter, quote unquote, told the Wall Street Journal that hackers breached the networks of companies including Verizon, AT&T, and Lumen. What the hell is Lumen? Oh, CenturyLink. What the hell is that? A cyber attack tied to the Chinese government penetrated networks of a swath of U.S. broadband providers, potentially accessing information from systems the federal government uses for court-authorized network wiretapping requests for months or longer. The hackers might have held access to network infrastructure used to cooperate with lawful U.S. requests for communication data, according to people familiar with the matter. And remember, the court-ordered U.S., it's supposed to, even though I know the CIA will listen in on wiretaps and they don't even have to get a warrant, right? Because typically under a federal, when they do wiretaps, the feds have to present this case. If they're targeting somebody like me, right? Knock on wood, I'm not doing anything illegal, so chill, right? Chill. They would have to go to a federal judge, federal court, present the judge with evidence. Hey, we need to wiretap eSIM Studios. We have evidence of them, or in some claim or some claims that they're doing whatever. Well, the judge would sign off on it, look at over all the evidence, and he has to say so. He gives the authority to, yes, you can wiretap eSIM Studios, or no, you cannot. Yeah, I need more evidence, right? So there's a maybe or maybe not. Typically, they go ahead and sign off on it. But if you're the Chinese government, if you're Chinese hackers, do you think they're asking for a warrant or a judge for authority? No. They can go in and let's listen to eSIM Studios call. Oh, what text messages did he send out today? Let's look at the data packets that he's receiving on his phone. What websites has he been going to? All that they don't need approval for, and they're looking at anything and everything you're doing. This is huge, and I don't know why it's not bigger news. It's probably because AT&T and Verizon are silencing these reports. These attackers also had access to other tranches of more generic internet traffic, according to Wall Street Journal sources. The attack is being attributed to a Chinese hacking group called Salt Typhoon. Okay? What a dumb name. The Washington Post reported on the hacking campaign yesterday, describing it as an audacious espionage operation likely aimed in part at discovering the Chinese targets of American surveillance. The Post report attributed the information to the U.S. government officials and said an investigation by the FBI, other intelligence agencies, and the Department of Homeland Security. It is in the early stages. The Post report said there are indications that China's Ministry of State Security is involved in the attacks. So this goes all the way up to the highest levels, not only to the U.S. government, CIA, right? I'm sure they're looking into it, or I'm sure they've been aware. If we're just finding this out, our government has been aware of this for a while, right? It's just the publications got the word of it and then wrote a big article on it, right? And this goes up to the highest levels of the U.S. government. This goes to the highest levels of the Chinese government because they're involved with the hacking. Remember, China is a communist country. If you own and or start a business in China, you have to let the government in on what you're doing, meaning your whereabouts, the money, the revenue you're bringing in, because you have to give a large portion of that revenue to the government. And ultimately, they have say-so over your business, right? So companies like Alibaba, that's a Chinese-based. The long story about that I'm not going to get into. They're in and have say-so on whatever you do, which I bring that up because Chinese government has say-so, veto power, whatever you want to call it, on this Salt Typhoon hacking group, right? I believe the Chinese government spearheaded this. I believe the Chinese government obviously funding this, obviously promoting it internally, because why wouldn't they, right? I'm not going to get into all the fake actors, Chinese fake actors that are here in America. And I don't want to veer too far off of this tech thing, but there's a lot of Chinese nationals in the United States that are working for the Chinese government. Actually, that are real spies. Like, not like James Bond style, right? Or Jason Bourne or Mission Impossible Tom Cruise type of spies, but they're spies that report back to the government, right? They report back. They get jobs at IBM. These Chinese nationals that are just over here on a work visa, they're getting jobs at high level companies and reporting information, specific information, back to China. In fact, there was a senator, I think in like Delaware or something. Her aide got arrested a couple months ago for being a spy. So they're all over the place here. And China is probably spying more on us than we're spying on them, right? Although I know everybody's spying on everybody, but this is just another example, right? They tapped in to our wireless carriers. So technically, they could listen to every single conversation you've made. They could read every single text you send. They can look at all the sites you go to. Yeah, even those. Yes, those sites that you don't want anybody knowing. Yeah, guess what? Your husband or your wife might not know that you're going to those websites, but guess what? The Chinese government knows. So this is not a good thing. So Verizon has reportedly been working with the FBI. Verizon reportedly set up a war room at its facility in Ashburn, Virginia, where it is working with personnel from the FBI, Microsoft, Google. Hackers apparently extradited some data from Verizon networks by reconfiguring Cisco routers. Ooh, this doesn't sound good, said one current and one former U.S. official familiar with the matter. According to the Post, the fact that they were able to make changes in the routers without detection reflects the sophistication of the adversary, but also raises questions about Verizon's security posture, analysts said. Duh. This is how, not necessarily SIM swaps work, because that's more of a human, that's more of a person physically going into their servers and switching out SIM card EID numbers, right? Although these Chinese hackers are going in to Verizon networks, Verizon servers, and changing stuff in and tapping in, right? Because Verizon, what do you think Google does when law enforcement goes to Google? Hey, we need all these emails that eSIM Studio sent out. We think he's doing something nefarious or breaking the law somehow. We need all of we need access to his Gmail account. Well, they got to take that to a federal court, and then the federal judge has to sign off on that. Well, that would be the same thing that China's doing with Verizon and AT&T, except, again, they're not having to go to a court. They're not having to go to a judge. They're getting into Verizon servers, and they have full access to you. Both the Post and Wall Street Journal reports say it is possible that U.S. wiretapping systems were penetrated, but it hasn't yet been proven. There is some indication the lawful intercept system was targeted. A U.S. security official told the Post, one U.S. official told the Post that President Joe Biden was briefed about the breach. Whether the hackers got access to actual lists of federal surveillance targets or their communications, or what they might have taken, is not clear. officials said. Washington Post wrote, it is also not clear whether the subjects of the surveillance at issue were targeted in domestic criminal investigations or national security cases such as espionage, terrorism, or cybersecurity. So what they're saying is the government is not sure of who the Chinese hackers were targeting. Was it Chinese nationals that they wanted to keep a closer eye on? Maybe you've seen these spy movies, like in Mission Impossible, right? He works for the U.S. government, but he kind of goes rogue, right? Well, another way, let's say that was a Chinese spy. They kind of went rogue, and they weren't really sending in communication to China. Well, maybe China wants to take a closer look at where this spy went rogue, right? Maybe the U.S. government doesn't know who the Chinese hackers were basically targeting, right? Was it their own? Was it one of us? Was it regular citizens like you and I? They don't know yet, but just the fact that essentially they can spy on anybody at whenever they want to, whether it's you know what they probably did all the above. Knowing China, knowing how conniving they are, not the people, I'm talking about the government. Please let me be very 100% clear. I'm not targeting the people of China. This is the government that I'm kind of criticizing or explaining. This is the hackers. What was it? Salt Typhoon. I'm talking about them. So please don't take any offense. I know tons of great Chinese people. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about government here. They were probably spying on everybody. Let me break the news to you. They were spying on everybody. They're just telling you this to kind of keep people's emotions, make sure people don't really get that worked up, if possible. They were spying on everybody. I guarantee it. Let's see. AT&T. So AT&T and Lumen. What is Lumen? Oh, they said it was like a Cisco. Oh, the servers. That's right. So Lumen is probably the parent company of Cisco. And Verizon and AT&T probably use Cisco systems for their servers and their data centers. That's what it is. So Lumen probably owns the data centers and servers, and that's how they get tied in. And then Verizon and AT&T, what do you know? I got a Verizon ad right up here in the top right. Verizon and AT&T use Lumen's Cisco servers to store and to run data off of. So AT&T and Lumen declined comment when they were contacted. Not surprised. They also contacted Verizon and Cisco, and will update the article with any comment which we just went over. Get this. A spokesperson for the Chinese embassy in Washington alleged in a statement to the Post that the U.S. intelligence community and cybersecurity companies have been secretly collaborating to piece together false evidence and spread disinformation about the Chinese government supporting attacks on U.S. targets. Some details of Salt Typhoon campaign were reported by the Wall Street Journal on September 26th, but that earlier story did not mention specific internet service providers or the wiretap aspect. So China's basically, the Chinese embassy in Washington is basically saying it's a load of crap. It's false, but we all know they do this. The spy balloon, that was Chinese, right? I mean, come on. They're always finding ways to target America and Americans, basically. So please be careful. Now, we're going to get off of this, but real quick, is there anything you can do? Let's say you're a Verizon or AT&T customer. Is there anything you can do to protect yourself? No, unfortunately, I don't believe so. Now, and I hate to say that, but I honestly don't think so, because they're doing this from the inside, right? It's like SIM swaps. There's a couple things you can do. Look, even if you run a VPN, still not going to matter. You know why? Because even though you're routing your data packets that you send off for your phone when you are on the internet, right? Or even in apps, how they work in the background. You can they send and receive data packets, right? Even though they are routed between like 2 or 3 different servers around the world, if you're using data, like if you're not in Wi-Fi, if you're not at home, if you're out at a park or you're at a movie theater, even though, and you have a VPN active, even though you have a VPN, it still has to get routed through Verizon or at&t servers for data, because that's what we're talking about here. You're just using the VPN is just going to a couple of different places, but it still ultimately has to go to and from the data servers, right? Because you're getting data service from Verizon or from AT&T. So I don't even think VPNs would work. I don't think the Tor network will work, which is Tor. The Tor network is basically what the darknet is run on. I don't think that would work. If you're on Wi-Fi, you could turn off your data you could turn off your data if you have AT&T or Verizon. But if you're off of Wi-Fi, like at a theater or at a park, no, I don't think there's anything you can do. Now, you can get so you can drop AT&T or Verizon and get a company like Ifani. Now, Ifani, they're good at protecting you from a SIM swap, but this is not totally different, but kind of different. Remember, this is from the inside. And that's the thing, all your data to and from, calls, texts, and data, no matter what kind of VPN or Tor network you have, doesn't matter, because it still has to be routed through Verizon, for your data, so they can look at what you're looking at online. They can tell what you're doing online, what apps you're downloading, what apps you're using, calls, texts, all that. So not a good deal. So just, I don't know. I wish I could give you some good advice as far as what to do, but when you're this far inside the network, nothing you can do. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't think there's anything you can do. You're screwed. Honestly, I mean, all you can do is just hope they didn't look at your information. Now, good news is that it's like a needle in a haystack, because remember, with these 2 out of the 3 major service providers, you're talking about 200 million people. So what are the chances they're going to look just randomly at eSIM Studios ISP, right? Or they're going to look at me. What are the chances of that? 1 out of 200 million. It's probably same chances you have of winning the lottery, but still, there are still people they look at, right? So it's just luck of the draw. So I don't know. Stay tuned. All I can say is I promise you I will keep an eye on this story, and if any other information pops up, any more news comes to light, I'll promise to inform you and let you know, because this directly affects everybody, but especially in our world, right? The tech world, since this is kind of right up our alley. Stay tuned. Subscribe to eSIM Studios YouTube channel, and so you don't miss any news that comes from this story. I promise I will bring to your attention. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you get notified. That's a good thing about subscribing, is you will be notified of any new information or any more videos that I make on this topic, right? Now, do I have any more time? Okay. Check this out. I got a few more minutes. I had to get to this. So we know OnePlus is coming out with a new device, right? It's been a little too much time on that story, but it is what it is. So we all know OnePlus 13 is set to release this month. OnePlus 12, a badass device. I love it. OnePlus 13 is supposed to be even better in many ways, right? Now, we know the OnePlus 13 is going to get released early because, well, they basically said it. And, well, it kind of made sense because the CPU they were using in the OnePlus 12, where we assume they're going to use a Qualcomm Snapdragon for the OnePlus 13, the next generation, And that new CPU, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4, is set to be released here in about a week. And just assumed that the OnePlus 13 was going to have this new Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. What if I told you that was incorrect? What would you think? What would your first initial thoughts be? Disbelief, right? You probably wouldn't believe me. Now, what if I said if that was half true, right? What if I told you it was going to have a Snapdragon CPU? But what if I told you it would have an even better CPU? Even better CPU than the 8 Gen 4? Yeah, even better than the 8 Gen 4. What would you do? Well, my head damn near exploded, because it looks like they're going to put an even better CPU than the 8 Gen 4. If that's possible, it's possible now. Let's check this out. You're not going to believe this story. All you OnePlus fans out here, you are going to be very excited after you see this. Check this out. Let me share this. Check this out. So, sorry about that. Lost you there on the screen share. Look at this. Oh boy, what a big story. So, the OnePlus 13. Initially, the OnePlus 13 was expected to use the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4, but Qualcomm has something even better for us tech fans up their sleeve. It looks like there's going to be a last-second switch. Qualcomm's new Weibo post. Now, Weibo is going back to China. Is China's biggest social media app, basically, or platform. Is called Weibo. They have a huge tech community on Weibo, and all of the cell phone manufacturers have Weibo pages on this platform, right? Kind of like, I don't know, it's like Instagram, but a Chinese version. Very, very popular. Billions of people use it. We just don't have access here in America. I've tried to download it and use it, and they won't give me access because I'm here in America. But OnePlus, Qualcomm, they all have Weibo pages. Qualcomm posted on Weibo. They teased this new upcoming Snapdragon Summit that they're going to have here in about a week. And remember, they're going to announce and release the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. But they also teased a brand new chip that we knew very little about, called the Snapdragon 8 Elite with Orion cores. Now, I know a lot of people are like, Orion, what the hell is that? Well, the teaser video showed a phone with a circular camera island, kind of like a prototype, but it looked exactly like the OnePlus 13. Maintaining the classic camera layout from the OnePlus 11, OnePlus 12, and fit the exact design of the OnePlus 13. Now, they teased this OnePlus 13 lookalike with the brand new Snapdragon 8 Elite inside this OnePlus 13 lookalike. Qualcomm may have just teased the upcoming processor for the highly anticipated OnePlus 13. While details are still a little unclear, it does seem the upcoming flagship Android phone may take an unexpected turn. Not for the worse, a turn for the better, because I was already expecting and very excited for this OnePlus 13, and now I can barely stay in my seat. The OnePlus 13 was initially expected to draw its power from the upcoming Snapdragon 8 Gen 4, but with Qualcomm working on a new flagship chip, one that we've heard about but was not expected to be released until next year or a little later in the future, They're working on a brand new flagship CPU. This new chip, OnePlus might be rethinking its choice. So in this Weibo post, Qualcomm offered a glimpse into the forthcoming Snapdragon Summit, teasing the arrival of this new chipset called Snapdragon 8 Elite. The video showcases Oryon cores, a tech already featured in the Snapdragon X Elite laptop CPUs. That's correct. They're going to take some technology that they crafted from the Snapdragon X Elite that has been very popular, brand new ARM chipset that they put in laptop PCs that has really been performing great with very little battery use. They're going to put that same technology in a phone now. The exact role of the Snapdragon 8 Elite is still unclear. It's uncertain if Qualcomm plans to launch it as a separate flagship alongside the 8 Gen 4 or if it's just going to rebrand the 8 Gen 4. So still a little unclear of their plans, but I can guarantee you it's going to be good news nonetheless, because I was already very excited for the 8 Gen 4 because it's a powerhouse. It beats... Let me repeat this again. It beats the Apple iPhone Bionic A18 Pro CPU that's in the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max. I'm going to brag about that until next year. So this is going to be even more powerful. And the best part, this new 8 Elite CPU from Qualcomm, the best part is it's probably going to get outstanding battery life. I'm talking like it'll be the most powerful chip ever put in a mobile device, and you'll probably get like 2 days battery life out of it, right? But it's still a little unclear about what they're going to do. Are they actually going to use this Snapdragon 8 Elite CPU with these Oryon cores? Are they going to basically just name that the 8 Gen 4? But I don't think they would do that. They invested billions of dollars in R&D in the 8 Gen 4. So I don't think they're going to scrap the 8 Gen 4. I think they're still going to release that. I just think it might be an option for some of these companies to use this new 8 Elite, right, instead of the 8 Gen 4. Or they could, OnePlus 13 could be released with the 8 Gen 4. And then in a couple months release like a new updated model with the brand new Snapdragon 8 Elite. Again, still a little unclear, but stay tuned to the channel. I can guarantee you we're going to keep you up to date with this. Along with this teaser, and we'll look at the video in a second, along with this teaser featured a smartphone, circular camera island, yes, that looks just like the OnePlus 13. Leaker Digital Chat Station also hinted on Weibo that the OnePlus 13 could be the first smartphone to feature the 8 Elite chipset. The smartphone, the OnePlus 13, is going to sport a 6.82-inch LTPO OLED display, 2K resolution, 120 Hz refresh rate, all that blah, 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 blah. We already know the specs, right? It's going to have a triple 50 megapixel setup on the back, periscope lenses, ultra wides, 3x optical zoom, all that. So here's what the OnePlus 13 looks like. I guess that's the OnePlus 12, but it'll look similar. Now let's look at this video real quick, right? Where is this video? Now I want to make sure y'all can see this. Can y'all see that? No, y'all can't. So let's remove this and let's add. You're seeing conflicting articles. Some say rename to Snapdragon 8 Elite and Ultra. Others say separate lineup. Yeah, and that's the thing. If you ask me what I'm thinking, well, look, they got to be two separate chipsets, because we know the 8 Gen 4 does not have the Oryon cores, right? I'm thinking it could be true, but I believe it's highly unlikely Qualcomm invests billions of dollars in designing these, testing these, research and development, right? but they're designing and developing two separate chips, right? The 8 Gen 4 and then the 8 Elite. They have different core sets, different foundations, different structures. I don't think they would just basically rebrand the 8 Gen 4, the 8 Elite, and then what are they going to do with the 8 Elite? I think these are two separate chipsets, and I think they're going to release two separate chipsets, basically. I don't think they're going to rebrand anything. I think they are going to release them two separate chipsets, right? I don't know if these manufacturers, because here's the thing, Qualcomm could tell OnePlus and could tell Samsung, hey, we got this new 8 Elite over here with the Orion cores. It's probably going to be more expensive. I can tell you that, per chip. They probably call Samsung, get in touch with the OnePlus and whoever, Xiaomi, and say, hey, you can have this 8 Gen 4 over here, or we get this new 8 Elite with these new Orion cores. And it's your choice. What do you want to do, right? I think that's how they're going to play it. I don't know, obviously. And look, I'm just going off the information we know. Well, I don't have all the info, but I just don't see them scrapping hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, in research and development and time, right? Time. Developing these two chipsets and then just hopping one name over to the other, unless they do that and then rename the Orion cores something else, right? Like you said, the Ultra, right? They could do that. So I guess renaming is possible as long as they continue to sell both of these to these manufacturers. Let me look at this. Let's check out this video real quick. Let's see here. Save the best story for last. All right, check this out. Where are we at? All right, let's go. 27 seconds long. I'm going to remove me from the view and play this so we get a full screen. And there you have it. Interesting thing is it did say 1022 and 1024. So it looks like that would be, well, that'd be October. So it looks like it's going to be released on October 22nd or October 24th. So we'll have to wait and see what's going on, brother. About to end it out right here. Looks like everybody done left. So anyways, stay tuned. Get subscribed to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel. I'm going to keep a very close eye on this story and see what they're going to do. But very exciting nonetheless. It looks like we got a surprise on the way. Even more powerful mobile CPU chipset. So, man, future looks bright for these Android devices. Because imagine if Samsung scrapped. You know what? I was thinking, I would be happy if they went all MediaTek in the Dimensity 9400 in the whole lineup. I would be happy with that. Or what if they went MediaTek Dimensity 9400 in the S25, And then the S25 Plus, they went like Snapdragon 8 Gen 4. And what if they did the S25 Ultra in this new Snapdragon 8 Elite with these Orion cores in the S25 Ultra? That would be badass. So nonetheless, it looks like we're going to have some very, very powerful CPUs here in our mobile devices this upcoming year. So absolutely cannot wait. We'll get the word here soon, right? The announcement is, a week or two away. So get subscribed to eSIM Studios, and I will keep you up to date on everything. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate the time. Went a little bit over, but it's all good. We got a lot of stories today. I'm going to release these as individual videos. I'm going to upload these here this afternoon. So if you missed anything, sit tight. You can catch the replay if you can't wait. But I'm going to upload these as individual videos so you can check out each story individually. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, guys. And as always, please stay safe, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.